is King Bob 6549 and today is episode 3 of the Let's Play series. Last episode we finished off this iron farm and started on this little food farm over here, but which later burned down because I placed the lava in the wrong place. But I say if we keep this going for quite a bit, it'll turn into quite a good food farm. Today we are going to make a villager trading hall, but with discounts, not from curing zombie villagers. So I'll tell you how we're going to do that in a bit. It includes a dungeon, more specifically zombie dungeon, which I'll find using chunk base. So yeah, I'll just get up. Okay, so I had a look at chunk base, and it seems like there is a quite close one just down that way around there, and there's actually two down there, which is quite good. Hopefully it's not too close to this one, this village here, but I think it should be alright. So I'm gonna go there now. So my recording crashed again, so I'm just gonna explain what I did. So I found where the dungeons were, but they were under the water, so I started to try and tunnel under, if you get what I mean. But then I stumbled into a cave, which was very annoying. But I managed to cafundle my way in there. But then a creeper jump scared me. And then I started digging down to the right Y level, and then tried to dig underneath the ocean. I also grabbed quite a lot of iron actually, which would be helpful as I needed a bit of iron for the farm, even though I had an iron farm. But then I made my way back to the surface and I checked to see if I had anything useful in the chest, but I didn't. So I started to cut down some wood from the nearby villager houses, which I realised I had done quite a lot of recently. And then I started to dig downwards, making sure that if I did fall into a cave, I wouldn't fully fall down and I would have enough time to save myself because of the 2-block jumps. And then I tried to get some water, because I would need some water for the farm. Then stumbled across the dungeon with a load of zombies in there. Looted the chests, which wasn't really much in there, but I would take it. And then I started to make the farm. It was going to be in a diagonal pattern, so I could maximise the spawn points. I covered up the roof with blocks, so it was only 2 blocks over the spawner. I then started to dig 6 blocks down, so in a total it would be 9 blocks high. I eventually broke my pickaxe through mining so much, but this was nowhere near as much as I would be mining to the actual villager enclosement. And now I'm going to explain now how the farm actually works. So I'm making a dungeon right now, which will filter zombies, especially zombie villagers that can spawn into the spawning location, which would be a load of villagers in there. And then whenever a zombie villager spawns, the trades will go down for the entire villagers near it. So that's basically how the farm works. But the reason I'm doing it quite soon in my world is because with the new villager update where they're going to kind of tweak trades a bit and nerf how OP they are, with the librarians having to go to a swamp to get mending and stuff like that. So I'm trying to do it quickly before that update comes in. Anyway, so I managed to nearly complete the dungeon. I had to get a few, go back up to the thingy and get some water. Then I removed the torches so the dungeon was working. I then once again tunnelled around it, grabbed as much iron as I could. and then got my way into the dungeon. I started laying out how wide I would need the villager pit to be, which would be 12 each way from the spawning platform of the zombie villagers, or just normal zombies. So I eventually did finish the massive building project of breaking that massive hole in the ground, which took me about 2 hours to do. But then I started to make my way up to the surface, and once I was up there, I started making a plan to go over to the other village and breed the villagers there, because I didn't want to breed them at the villagers here because that would ruin the spawn rates. So I gathered some materials and then made my way over. I grabbed a bit of sugarcane along this way as well, because I would need that to trade with the librarians once I did eventually get the villagers down there. But while I was at the village, I made like a little platform so I could breed the villagers there and then easily transport them on boats to the farm. I then tried to get these villagers into a boat. Didn't really work out that well. I managed to get 2 of them in there eventually, and then I tried to get them on surface, but then they drowned and died, which was kind of sad. But there was plenty of villagers there, so I just grabbed a few more and made my way over. I then killed a drowned with a trident and got the trident, which was very useful because I would need to use the trident to get an XP farm later in the series. But then once I got all my villagers into the little room, I guess you could call it, I grabbed some wool from the little trading market. I then placed a load of beds into it. Gave the 2 villagers that were inside a bit of bread so they could breed up a load of new villagers to put into the farm. I then decorated the farm with oak planks and trapdoors. I then placed a bed in the middle of the farm, as this would be the bed that all the villagers would link into, and if I slept in it, then it would completely ruin the rates. So I made sure I wouldn't do that by placing slabs around it, as a kind of a warning sign for me. I then placed railways all through the entrance to the farm, so I could easily transport the villagers to it. I then got 1 villager in and started the process of transferring it to the farm, but sadly it suffocated as I accidentally placed a block where it was going into. But that didn't stop me from getting another one, repeating the process, and then finally getting a villager. I then traded with it until I got a mending butcher. I could see the later trades as I had a resource pack installed, and then after waiting a few minutes I realised that the farm did work and the trades were there. I then got another villager in there and made the trade protection 4, which was extremely lucky. And then I think I'm going to end the episode there. I think you get the gist of how the farm works, and I will eventually fill the entire farm with villagers, but not quite yet. But I'm glad I've got a mending and a prop 4 villagers. Those are the most important enchants. And next episode will be a Roblox video, so get excited for that. Yay, yay, yay. Woo, woo, woo.